Yes, guys, welcome to our today's class. Today we are going to talk about switches. So if this is your first time, my name is Isangoi. I am a Microsoft and Cisco instructor. So this is our second lesson to our CCNA level 1. Remember, guys, you need to do or you need to watch all my videos. They are almost 10 to 15 in order for you to get a certificate, a valid Cisco certificate that will demonstrate that you did your networking level 1. So be with me, do everything that I'm sharing here. You need to practice. So if this is your first time, go to the video number 1, right? Like in order for you to have a better understanding. But there is no issue. You can even start from video number 2 as like everything is easy. From the video number 1, we spoke about what is a network. Remember, like a network, it's a group of objects and those objects are connected, right? So when you have a network, you have a group of objects, those objects are connected. What are the objects? We call the objects like what we discussed last time. We are just here first. So you can see what is a network. So it's a group of objects. Those objects are connected. The example of those objects like computers, phones, TV, cameras, printers, and so on. So a network is a group of objects and those objects are connected. Why those objects are connected? Those objects are connected like in order to share, right? It's for sharing. Now, sharing what? It's for sharing of like information and resources, right? We spoke already about them. What are the informations? Like files, like emails. What are the resources? Like a printer. So it's one of the resources. Remember, you can have your company, and in your company, you are maybe 100, and you can share one printer. There's no need to buy one printer. And remember, guys, how to connect those objects? You can connect those objects to create a network by using wireless or by using cables. But we are going to see different types of wireless and different types of cables, right? And we did some of the exercises, but today we are going to move forward. So I want you just to go back to what we did previously, right? So we are going to talk about switches, right? Introduction to switches. So I have one of the switch here I will show you. Let me first, like this one. So this one, it's a switch, right? So it's like it's a switch basically, right? You can see the ports, right? So what is a switch, right? A switch is a network device. We call it a network device, right? So it's just a network device or an object, right? Number two, a switch is a network device that will connect the other devices. So we are going to connect other devices to it. So connect other devices like printers, computers, like cameras, right? So when we are talking about a switch, we can see it's a network device. That network device, you are going to use it to connect other devices, right? So if I'm trying to draw, let me see here, if I can do something like drawing, let me see if it's possible. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I have some difficulties drawing. Okay, let me see if I can do something there. Okay, if I can remove this picture. Sorry guys, I want that. Okay, so you can have here, this is your switch. Your switch is here, right? Now from this particular switch, you can connect what? You can connect the computers here. This is one of the computer. You can connect another computer here, right? Those are the objects, right? You can connect also printers, a printer here. A printer. You can connect a camera, right? You can connect a camera and so on. So this is basically what we call a switch, right? So when you know how to define a switch, you're already good. So it's a network device that you're going to be using like in order to connect other devices, right? Number three, like about switches. Switches will come with models, right? When we are talking about switches, switches will come with different models, right? It's very easy. You can just go to the internet. You just say uh, switch models, right? You're gonna see a lot of them, right? Right? So very easy for you to get some information about a switch. I'm just waiting to see. My internet like today is a bit slow, right? Yeah, those are the switches, right? But we are not there. We are going to master all those things, right? So basically, we are here. So a switch will come with different models, like high-wave switches, HP switches, MikroTik switches, Cisco switches, right? So, and when you are writing a CV, you need to mention some of the switches that you know, like in terms of models. So you as an engineer, you need to know when we're talking about a switch, we're talking about a network device. We're talking about a network device that will connect other components. We are talking about a device that will come in different models. Number four, when we are talking about a switch will come with an operating system, right? We call it, okay, let's make it like easy, operating system, or we call it like iOS, right? So this particular component, this particular switch will have a software, right? That software will know how to manage other components, right? That software is just an operating system. And that operating system, we call it iOS, but we are going to see it later on, right? So now, remember guys, a switch is a network device. A switch can connect like other devices. A switch will come with different models. Number four, a switch will come with a software or an operating system or what we call iOS. Basically, we call it iOS, right? But we are going to see later on, right? Number five, when we are talking about switches, you need to understand again this. We do have two types again, manageable and unmanageable. There are switches that you can control, switches that you can manage, manageable and unmanageable, right? There are switches that you can control, that you can talk to, switches that you can tell your own configurations, and there are switches that you cannot do anything, right? So manageable, you cannot configure. So this one, right? No further configurations, right? Oh, no, I'm talking about unmanageable, right? So for this particular uh, like type of switches, there is no configuration. You just buy it, you bring your computers, your printers, you connect them to it. Finished. And the communications will start, right? There is no further configuration. The way you're gonna buy it in the shop, you're gonna use it like that. But the problem is also, it's what? First, it's easy to configure. No, it's easy. It's also cheap, right? But not really performance, right? Like in terms of security and so on, right? So when you wanna buy a switch, be careful. You need to understand that There are switches that I can configure according to my requirements, and there are switches that I cannot do anything, right? So they are manageable and unmanageable. So unmanageable, they are very cheap. There is no further configurations. They are easy to use, right? You just plug them, you put them, you just plug, they are on. You bring your computers and what? You plug, finished. No further configurations. But when you're talking about manageable, all right, this one, right, you can do your configurations. You can configure long, right? And it's expensive, secure, it's also more secure, and so on, right? So the manageable one is the one that you can configure, you can do most of the things, but it's very expensive, all right? So guys, this is what's first from the introduction point of view. And remember guys, a switch will come with port, right? A switch will come with ports, 6 ports, like 10 ports, 100 ports, right? More ports, sometimes it's more expensive. So you can plug more devices, right? Because I don't want to waste my time just talking. We can go to do few exercises. From there, you're going to understand better. But remember, when we are talking about a switch, we are talking about a network device. That network device, from number two, we are going to use it to connect other devices. So you're going to have a switch, you connect your printers and other components. Number three, a switch will come with models. You must be careful. When you wanna buy, you wanna purchase a switch, you have to know the model. You have to get interested to the model. And you have to understand that like a switch will come with its own operating system, what we call iOS, right? Number five, there are switches that you can control, that you can talk to, that you can manage the ports, like everything can manage, you can do your own configurations. We call them the manageable ones. And there are switches that you cannot control, you cannot change the configuration. You just buy them the way they are, you plug them, and you start like plugging your computers, right? But those unmanageable, they are very cheap, they are easy to configure, and so on. Manageable ones, they are very expensive, very, very expensive, some of them, right? So you can configure, they are more secure, and so on. Number six, that a switch will come with ports, right? Where you're going to plug those other components or devices. From now, we're gonna just keep those 6 points. Very easy for you guys, right? So even if you're sleeping, what is a switch? Like a switch is a network device. A switch will connect other components. A switch will come with models. A switch will have an operating system. Like a switch, when we're talking about switches, they are manageable and unmanageable. There are switches that I can configure, so I can play around. Those switches are very expensive, they are very strong. Compare those to one that I cannot manage, right? And number six, a switch will come with port, right? More ports means I can plug so many things. Let's go now to our simulator, and we're going to understand better from, okay, I will take the new one. Then you can just go to file, because my computer is a bit slow. New project. Okay, just say no. Okay, I'm just waiting my, yes. So we are going to do a few exercises. Just, yeah. Sometimes when you want to put some notes, okay, it's lab number 3. Let me just write it down. It's here, I think so. Okay. We stopped at lab number 1. Lab number 2, we were here. In number 1, it was this one. Now we're in lab number 3. Lab 3. Connecting multiple objects. using a switch. So basically what we are going to do, we are going to use like a switch to connect computers. So you go to your simulator, very easy. So from here, what you're gonna do, we need computers. You have your company, there are computers there, or maybe you have to purchase computers. And because we're using a simulator, those are our computers. We're going just to drag and drop them, right? So drag and drop means you go to every office, you are putting the computers there, right? Okay, because I wanna go fast, I can just keep 4 here. Now you're gonna ask yourself, now how am I gonna connect those 4 computers? I need a network device. Okay, let me buy a switch, right? You go to the shop, you ask which type of switch do you want, right? But for now, we're gonna use Cisco switches. And Cisco switches will come with different models. Be careful about it, right? Even when you're writing a CV, you need to mention which type of Cisco switches you've been working with, right? Even using the simulator, because using the simulator is the same thing as using the actual device, physical device. So you just go to switches, you click once, right? We're gonna pick up the first one. You see it says 2950, right? So the model of this switch is a 2950 Cisco switch. This 24 means 24 port. So if you go to the internet, you type 2950 slash 24, they're going to show you that particular switch. You see, it's here, right? It's here. So when you are writing a CV, you are looking at networking job, right? You have to list like maybe I've worked on Cisco switches. I know how to work on Cisco switch at 2960 at 24 ports, right? It's right. So, but we're going to play around. We're going to use different type uh, of switches, right? Okay, let's go back. Now you purchase your switch. This switch is a manageable switch, right? It's not a, so this one you can play around the configuration. Now, when you are done, you have your switch, you have your computers. I'm just picking up 4 computers because I want to make it short. But you can go further, right? So what we're gonna do now, we need a cable. Remember, I want to connect a computer to a switch. There are 2 different components. Different components, we are using a straight cable. You go to straight, you click once, you go to your computer, you click once, you go to your. So now, when you click on your switch, you're gonna see those 24 ports, they are here. There are 24 ports. Every port will have a name. So if you have that switch, that network device, every port will have its own name. When you know the name of every port, it's so easy to play around them, right? So wherever you are plugging a particular component, you must know the name of that port. Why? Because when you're gonna talk to the device, you have to tell the device which port you wanna configure. Maybe you wanna disable the port. Maybe you wanna configure security on that particular port, right? So I'm gonna use this one, fast Ethernet 0/1. This is the name of that port. So you plug, and when you plug, you're gonna see there it's green and like here, like it's orange. You must make sure, you must wait when it's gonna be green. Later on, you can understand why. Just click again, you go to, right? The order doesn't matter, right? You can plug like anyway, but it depends on your design, right? Okay, yes. If you want a printer, you can just go again there, you click the computer, you click this one, it's a generic, it's a printer, you click on connections, you do the same. You run the cables from your printer, you go to the printer, you plug, and you go to the switch, you plug again, right? But remember, guys, when you click on this particular switch, all right, okay, like, like maybe when I'm here, okay, let's say I'm removing this one. See here, guys, this console, this is the port you are going to be using, like in order to talk to the switch. Suppose like I want to configure the switch. The switch doesn't have a screen. Remember your wireless access point, there is no screen. How you are going to talk to it, right? So if you have a manageable switch, you're gonna have what we call a console port. It's gonna be written there. That console port will allow you as a technician to access the switch. So you're gonna have like a laptop or a desktop. You use what we call a console cable. You plug from your laptop to the switch, but by using what? A console port. I'm repeating again. Any manageable switch, when you are dealing with a manageable switch, like a switch that you can talk to, a switch that you can configure, right? That switch will have a manageable port. That manageable port, we call it a console port. This is the port you are going to be using if you want to configure your switch. So you're going to have your laptop and you connect your laptop to a console port, right? Let me show you. Okay, let's say I want to configure this switch. Let me take like a laptop here. I can have here my laptop there. How many did I put there? I did put two. Let me remove one. This one is for removing. Yeah? I just remove one and it will come back there. So this course is for removing. This is one you are not write something. And this one is for moving around. Okay. Now you're gonna connect also your laptop to the switch. So you need to use a console cable. It's a blue cable, right? So if you want to configure the switch, you're going to use a console cable. You click once, you click on your laptop, you're going to use this port. It's a serial port from your laptop. But if your laptop doesn't have a serial port, what you're going to do, you need an adapter, right? Maybe your laptop has only USB port. You're going to need an adapter, USB to serial. You click there and you're going to come here, right? So if you didn't understand, let me explain it again. Suppose like I have a switch here. I will need a computer, maybe this one. So if I want to configure this particular switch, you need a console cable. You click here, you go to console, it's always a blue cable. You click on the blue cable. You go to your computer, right? It's what we call a serial port, right? But if you don't have a serial port, you're going to buy an adapter, serial to USB. You click on the serial port on the computer, you go to your switch, you click on what we call console, right? Now, we do have our computers, like there's a printer connected to the switch and the computers and the laptop. Remember, guys, what we're gonna do, we need to assign the IPs. Remember, step number one, it was cabling, we are done. And step number two is the IPs. So I'm gonna just write something on top for you. You just click here once. There I'm gonna put maybe 192.168.1.2, right? And here I can put 3. So on this computer, I'm gonna put 4, and on this one, I'm gonna put 5. This one, my printer, is gonna be 6, and my laptop is gonna be 7. And you click there, right? So what we're gonna do now, we must go to every device by punching the IPs. So I'm gonna go on this one, select desktop, IP. Remember the IP is already known, and you click on subnet mask. Remember, every IP must have its own subnet mask. Don't worry for now. Don't worry about those numbers. Just practice with me. Slowly by slowly, you are going to master all those concepts. Don't worry, whatever that you don't understand for now, because you're still beginners. You go to the next computer again, desktop, IP, you do the same. Remember, for this computer is 3. You click on subnet mask. You do the same. You go to the third one. Remember, it's 4 there. You click on subnet mask. You do the same here. Remember, it's 5. Subnet mask. You go to your laptop, desktop IP. I think it was 7 for my laptop. And you do the same for your printer also. You click on fast Ethernet. You click here, fast Ethernet. You punch your IP, and this one is already taken. It's 6, I think. Okay. Now we are done with IPs. So suppose like your company has 50 workers. So what you're gonna do, you run the cables from wherever they are, from their offices. When you are done, you have your switch somewhere. You run the cable from floor number 1 to the switch and so on. That way your switch must have a specific location, right? Like a centralized location, a location where it's gonna be like easy for you to run all your cables, right? Now when you're done, you punch the IPs. Remember the IPs, those are the unique number that will allow you to identify those components, right? Those computers. When you are done, let's test the connectivity. Let's try to test. So if this guy can print, how will I know? So if this guy can print, I have to ping the printer, right? You go to this computer, you go to command prompt, you're gonna say ping. Remember ping. This is a piece of software that knows how to test the connectivity between devices. Now I'm gonna punch the IP address of what? Of the printer, right? Because this is the IP address of the printer, right? Now you press what? Enter, right? You can see that there is a reply from the printer. The printer can respond to me. This bytes, like 32, it's the size of the message that you sent. It's 32 bytes. And it took 44 milliseconds for your message to go to the printer and come back to you. And this TTL is the time that the message will remain like in the network before being deleted. So you can see here there are 4 replies from the printer. How will you know that it's a printer that replied? Here, this IP address here is the IP address from the printer. So you sent 4 messages, you received 4 from the printer. What was the size of your message? Let's say 2. Later on, you can change the size of this message just to see how the network will react when the size of the message is bigger. And this one is the time that it takes for your message to go to the printer and to come back. And this TTL is how many seconds remains, or how many seconds before your message being deleted in the network, because the message cannot remain forever. And the most important message is here. How many packets do you send? You send 4 to the printer. Printer, can you listen to me? Number 1. Printer, can you listen to me? Number 2. Printer, can you listen to me? Number 3. Printer, can you listen to me? Number 4. You send 4 times, and the printer say yes 4 times. Yes, 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 yes. You can see the lost here. It's 0. It means the connectivity is gold. Right? This is how to test the connectivity between computers. You can then go to this computer also. Okay, this one I can do the same. So you wanna check if this computer also can talk to the printer. You do the same, right? Oh, wrong IP. No, you can see here, it's 168. I made a mistake. Let me try here. 192.168.1.6. Right? Yeah. You see, there's a reply and lost 0. Now, suppose like you made a mistake, you are using a wrong IP. Let me try to change. Suppose like the printer was using another IP here, right? It's 192.168.2.6, right? Now, I want to try if this computer can talk to the printer because I'm sure like this is the IP address of the printer, right? But it's not. But let's see what will happen, right? You're gonna see that there won't gonna be a reply. You see, request timeout. Why request timeout? Because the printer is not in our family anymore, right? You as a technician, you know when you say print, you see request timeout, you know no, there's a problem. What is the problem? Maybe it's a cable problem. Maybe the device is off. Maybe the IP address is wrong, right? You can see just here request timeout. Now, you as a specialist, you as a network engineer, you got your laptop here, you said, okay, let me try to access the switch. How are you gonna do? How are you gonna do it? You just go to your laptop, you go to what we call like terminal, you say, okay, and when you are done, you're gonna just press enter, right? Let me try to make it big. It looks like it's very small and you cannot see like anything. Let me try to see if there's a possibility for me to make it look big. Feel like it's very small, very, very small for you guys. Cannot even see properly. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. So we are here, right? But I will try to make it big. So for you to access this particular switch, you just click there once, you click on terminal and you click OK. So, and from here, you can start your configurations, all right? I'm gonna just give you two of them, right? You can say enable and you press enter, all right? So the switch will move from the first mode to the second mode, right? So you can also tell the switch configure terminal. So I wanna go to the terminal and you press enter, right? But don't worry for now, right? Don't worry, you're going to master all those concepts, right? So yeah, this is guys, and make sure guys, you are going to practice. I'm giving to you 4 computers. Make your network big. You can add like 10, 20 computers, right? Remember the port, the switch has 24 ports. So it means you can add 24 computers. Okay, let's say now your company is growing. Your company is becoming very big, right? Okay, let's do some drawings. You can click here. You click there, you go to draw rectangle. You are here on the rectangle. Fill color. You click once. Okay. You drag and drop here. And when you want to put some notes, you can just come there. You say building one or floor one. Floor one. Right? So those are the computers on floor number 1. So what you need again, guys, okay, let's say you have another floor and you don't want to mix switches. So you can say, okay, computers on floor number 1, they will use this particular switch, switch 0. Okay, for floor number 2, I'm going to use another switch with other computers, right? And you click on connection, right? Yes, this is another floor. You can come here, you select another one, like another color. Okay, what's going on? Okay, let's see if it's gonna. Okay, I don't know what's. I wanna remove first. This one is giving me a headache. Draw rectangle. Okay, I want my own color. Yes. Okay, and you click there. This one can be flow through. All right. I'm gonna bring it down a bit. Okay. Now we need, because we are working for the same company, those two switches must be connected. Remember, switches are between them. You're gonna use a crossover cable. You come to crossover. You click once. and you can plug anywhere for now, right? Now, the switch from flow number 2 and the switch from flow number 1 are connected. Why? Because these computers from the yellow side and this computer from the green side, so computers from flow number 1 and computers from flow number 2 are for the same company, for the same network. So you can give it an IP address. Remember, the IP must be in the same range. I can give it 10 there, and you can test the connectivity. So if this computer can talk to the printer, you go to command prompts, you do the same, 192.168.1.6 seconds. So remember, we changed the IP. Let me go there and put the correct one, because it's still what we left. Okay, you're gonna see the reply coming, right? You see, we can lose the packet because from the beginning it was not connected. We gave it the correct IP. So you can repeat again. Yeah, so you can see the loss is 0, right? So you see that your company becomes big, right? You can also add another switch here down here. You create another network and so on, right? So guys, you need to practice. This is how, when your company is growing, you can just buy a switch and you add more components to it, right? Thank you very much. This is the end of the video number 2, lesson number 2. Remember, my email address is there, guys, right? My WhatsApp number, you can contact me, right? Remember, after those 2 weeks, I will send my final exam. If you passed or you're successful, you're going to get a Cisco certificate, all right? Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.